human beings must always be there to monitor and check. Our greatest problem in Nigeria is enforcement and consequence. It's not that we don't have laws and regulations. We have enough. If I tell you the amount of laws we have, it will shock you. We have enough that govern several things, but who is enforcing it? Who is enforcing to make sure that the thing you have said that people should not do, people are not doing it. The thing you said that people should do, they are doing it. The regulators
Yeah.
must
So
be up and doing. Otherwise, the registrars will just have a field day and the companies, they just keep the monies there,
and
keep coming up with excuses.
and talking about these registrars, personally I feel I'm not trying to bash anybody, but that's just the plain truth. I feel like they are the major issues that we have when it comes to the capital market in Nigeria because they make it difficult for so many people to really get
Very
this
difficult.
benefit of investing in the stock market.
Very
It's not just
difficult.
dividends. When it comes to bonus allocation,
Everything,
there's
everything.
always one problem or the other with them. Hello, welcome to the Nigerian Investors Podcast, the unofficial podcast that tracks and reports on the activities of the Nigerian boss. My name is Moody, and with my colleague Ayi, we will be hosting this podcast. TNI Podcast is dedicated to stimulating a renewed enthusiasm among the general population with regard to the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Ultimately, the goal of TNI is to see that many Nigerians from all walks of life, both at home and in the diasporas, become active participants on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Before we go further, we would like to place on record TNI podcast is solely for educational purposes and not a replacement for professional financial advice. Let's begin. Welcome, TennyG, to the Nigerian Investor Podcast. Tenny is a seasoned professional at the intersection of business, compliance, and investment. Beyond her corporate career, she has been a powerful advocate for investor education in Nigeria, using her voice and platforms to highlight regulatory gaps, empower retail investors, and demystify the complexity of our capital markets. She has particularly championed awareness around dividend withholding challenges, compliance pitfall, and the importance of financial literacy in rebuilding trust in the market. Tenny, it is a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Glad to
I'm
have you
happy to be
too.
here. Thank you for having me.
So let's start with your journey, right? So what inspired you to pursue a career at the intersection of business, compliance, and investment?
Okay, I am a lawyer by training and profession. My practice revolves around corporate governance and compliance. And then I have interest in consumer protection as well, which is why I am drawn to things that relate to sort of injustice, I'll put it that way, as far as the consumer is concerned. And if you bring that into the investment space, that's where you have the dividend issue that you see me trying to address. And I mean, a lot of these things are things I've experienced myself, so I understand the frustration. And then so my work is around business compliance, so that's where the business and compliance bit come in. As for investment, it's not really like a career pursuit per se. It's just my own personal experience as an investor. It's something I do as a person. But yeah, that's it.
Interesting. One common thing we've seen with a lot of investors is we tend to always draw experience from our careers, the world around us, and just use that to help ourselves, especially when it comes to educating people. So it's an interesting journey, right? And we're glad you shared that with us, right? But now you've been also very, very active educating the public on social media, right? So what key gaps in investor education have you observed especially among Nigerian retail investors?
Okay, yeah. What I do is really based on my own experience. I am just trying to see how best I can put out the touch there for people coming behind, for them to make their own journey a bit easier. When I started, I mean, I didn't have the kind of opportunities available now, and I just want to also try to fill in the gaps. So we have a fundamental problem with financial literacy in the country, and I think that this is one area that we need to begin to consider how to incorporate it into our educational system. Somehow, people just need to learn about these things beyond the theory. How well do people know about assets? For example, before you say you want to start investing, because I started as a teenager, but then I didn't really know much. I was just drawn to, I mean, I was just drawn to something interesting. I thought that would multiply my money. So, um, I made a lot of mistakes. And, so what we can do to improve things, the gaps that are there, is obviously the gap of financial literacy generally. We all learn subjects in school. We learn maths, we learn economics, we learn all those things. But the way we learn, we mostly learn to just write exams and pass. So we need to begin to see how we can bring these things alive, bring them to reality, and connect the dots beyond the textbook and beyond the blackboard or whiteboard, as well, maybe many people probably have it now. So yeah, that's in that sense, financial literacy needs to be incorporated in our mainstream educational system as a country, maybe from secondary school, or I don't know, maybe from primary, whatever age we believe that people can begin to learn the fundamentals. When you have 1 naira, how can you make it 2 naira, and how can you grow, and how those things. So the basics. For example, you want to invest. What do you understand? What do you know about an asset? What are the asset classes you know? What do you know about risk? Investment and business generally, you must have a conversation around risk if you want to do anything around that space. So what do people know about these things? What do people know about the capital markets? They want to be part of that market. Before you go to any market, you know how the market operates. At least you know opening time, you know when the market closes, you know what area, even a supermarket, you know what area to go to find things. You have your line for toiletries, you have groceries and all of that. So this market you're coming to, what do you know about it? Who are the people operating it? Who are the regulators? These are things that people need to know. And I'm really happy with what you are doing and what so many other people are doing as well with social media, because now the awareness is multiplying, and I'm quite impressed with what's going on. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter handles, blogs, left and right. I know where I'm coming from. It wasn't like this. So there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information out there. People just need to be interested. You need to be interested in your welfare. You need to be interested in how how money works, and how you can make better use of it or take better control of your finances. So financial literacy gap, generally, yeah, that gap is there, and I'm happy with the efforts that are being made to fill it. Yeah. I think that if we continue with this space over time, a whole lot of space will be covered. And people need to also be willing to learn. It doesn't matter how much information you have out there, because sometimes too, I find it ridiculous that people ask questions that they can just write in front of the same computer or phone, Google, and find out.
Yeah.
But people need to be willing to learn.
That's true. So many you've given us so many takes from when you started, lack of information. There's no information about us like you have today now. So many people were led astray back then because there was no information. And also, you talk about financial education. Financial literacy is very poor in our country, Nigeria, because it's not part of our curriculum. And being an advocate for uh, financial literacy being part of our curriculum, I believe from primary school all through secondary school and tertiary institution, financial literacy should be something that should be inculcated in our curriculum. Because if you look at our curriculum, it's just centered on training people to become um, disciplined in a particular field of endeavor.
Yeah.
And once you are disciplined, you start working for money. And that's what basically 90% of the population they do from when they start working till they retire. It's just working for money. Money is not working for them. That's obscure to them. They don't even know that money can actually work for them. All they just know is month end, I need to receive my salary. Then I do this, I do that, I do this. So it's really a very sad situation because of lack of financial literacy. And like you said, so many information there right now, a lot of enlightenment campaign going on, but people are still not willing to learn. You might have all this information, but at the end of the day, if you don't make use of the information, you can't really benefit from it. They still have similar questions. Aya and I, we belong to a group. That's where we had this idea of starting this podcast. Because in that group, we share a lot of information in that group, but they still come back with what the information you've just given answer to a particular question. They will still ask, another person will just come in and ask you.
Reading and comprehension or comprehension problems, People are not patient to read and understand. They just want to respond.
Yeah. The first problem is reading. They don't read. Then the other problem is what you mentioned, comprehension.
Yeah.
So they don't read. On top of all this is impatience. They are not patient enough to let me even find out information about what's going on. Then I can ask question after if I don't understand. No, they don't have that time. Just give it to me right now and let me go. What stock do you want me to buy?
Precisely.
I don't know how much you have. I don't know how you earn your money. I don't know if it's your school fees, if it's your house rent. I can't tell you the stock you need to buy because
Yeah.
if it goes wrong,
yeah,
I don't want to be held responsible.
exactly.
I don't want you to come back and say it's Moody that told me to go and buy Omatech Ventures PLC and I put my school fees and my house rent. Now the stock is not doing fine. Yeah, then you start running courses on me. So I don't want to be that. I'm willing to educate you. You have to go look for information and how to learn and how to invest, but I'm not going to tell you what to invest in. So as someone with compliance experience, how do you balance regulatory knowledge with real world investment behavior?
Yeah, this is quite an interesting question because I think the compliance in me it just makes me feel like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. You want to be sure that everything is all right, but I mean, like I mentioned before, everything is really about risk. So I have to rein in that part of me that always wants to know, don't put money here, this one is happening, and try to gauge, I mean, what's the measure of risk involved? Can I take this? What can I take and what can I not take? There are things, I mean, I don't negotiate. There are things I don't negotiate, but I think it helps me. It gives me that edge. The fact that I'm someone in compliance field, I know what to look out for. I have a sense of for like corporate governance, which is an area that I have interest in, or my practice is built around. It tends to sort of come into play in the kind of decisions I make, the kind of companies I invest in. So I want to be sure that it's well governed, it's well run, because I feel like people shouldn't just be an organization shouldn't just be run to favor only a particular group of people. That's unfair. So if I perceive an organization to be that kind of organization, I'm not likely to invest in it. So in that sense, my compliance, my compliance knowledge or my compliance expertise helps me. And I have to caution myself sometimes so that it's not like I'm not using it to restrain myself, as it were, from where I can get benefits. So I don't know if that has answered your question in any way, or if there's any more light you would like me to throw.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you for that. Now how can beginner investors spot red flags? Because your response, you talked about, you look at the company, you look at you look at if they are trying to favor a section of
Yes,
or a group of
governance.
people
Yeah.
compared to others. Yeah, to look at the governance. So now for a new investor, how can these investors spot red flags in investment platforms or stock recommendations?
Okay. The truth is, you can't be an expert in everything. We must understand that. And um, we need to embrace the fact that no matter how well you are good in one area, probably won't be that good in every other area. So there must be some room for people who know better than you to guide you. Okay? While you are not the lazy type to just sit back and say, "Oh, I don't know this one," and there's some bit of work that you need to do. But I think that we also need to know that there's a place where we have to draw the line when it comes to red flags, when it comes to investment. I'm saying this because sometimes due diligence may be necessary. And this is something I've done, maybe not necessarily for the capital market, but maybe some other investments that one or two people have asked me about and I've had to give an. on. So what I would really like to say for a beginner, red flags are spotted by due diligence. That's it. It's either you're doing the due diligence by yourself or you are getting help from an expert. It's either way. So if you know what to check, and every investment, the kind of investment will determine what you're looking at. So I cannot sit here and say this is what you will look at. If you want to buy stocks, fine. You should be looking at the financial statement. You should be looking at the governance. There are things you need to look out for. Yeah, but it doesn't apply, like it's not a one size fits all thing. But generally, there are things that will definitely come into play across the board. I mean, any investment you want to make, whether it's a startup, there must be some semblance of governance. I mean, some semblance of indication that the people that are heading it know what they are doing. Because I mean, the ship is going to sink if the people leading it they don't know what they are doing. How is the company managing money and all of that? So these are this may not, for a beginner, it may not be easy for you to spot red flags. Generally, if it looks too good to be true, that one is a giveaway. If it looks too good to be true, the offer, the return is looking really high, you can ask
Not watering.
questions. Yeah. You can ask questions. From there, you will begin to see, oh, there might be things that you probably don't know. You might ask someone else to say, what do you think about this? And all of that. But rather than just thinking that, oh, you have made a kill, you jump in and you realize that, this thing is looking like Ponzi, but it's already late for you. So, like, the short answer is due diligence. You need to do due diligence. Due diligence is not it's a term that sounds like complicated, but no. You do research online, you find out who are the people behind this company, who you can make inquiries. Is it registered with the rights? Well, it's not just CAC regulation, it's a registration. Is it registered? Is a company that is operating in this sector or industry? What are the requirements? And the more I try to even make it known, the more complex you see that it may get for you as a beginner. So it may not be very obvious for every beginner. Some things, sometimes it may be clear. I mean, this one, you can already see the red flag. For some companies that are riding high now, you can see that they don't have anything holding them, but maybe just sentiments driving them and all of that. So sometimes it may be that easy. You can just look at the financials. Sometimes it may not be. So beyond you, even me, there may be things that are above my own capacity, to be able to ascertain in terms of, oh, this one, maybe when it comes to some detailed numbers, because I see some things people share and I'm like, oh, interesting. So I think I know, I always tell myself anyway, I don't overrate myself. So I try to always get knowledge. I try to get knowledge so that I'm not cheated, try to get as much information, especially when it comes to numbers. Numbers can be confusing. So yeah, that's it. You need to do due diligence. Is either you're doing it yourself or you get help. That's it. But if it's too good to be true, then you should start asking the questions. That's where your due diligence should start from. So.
Okay. Too good to be true is a red flag.
So you've probably answered this question, but I don't know if you can provide more context, right? Over here, we have the firm belief that everything compounds, knowledge compounds, but there's always a good place for investors to start. We always say, don't rush into, especially when it comes to highly speculative stocks. Some young investors don't always get that the market has its own nuances, right? So what would you say is the best what would you say is the best financial literacy that early investors should take if they are as first time starters to the market? What would you say is the best that they should use to approach the market?
The best kind of financial literacy?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what kind of financial literacy is essential before putting money into the market, right? What would be like the first thing you think investors should learn?
Okay. So if you are interested in something, you're interested, for example, you want to invest in stocks, you have to at least know what a stock is. What is a stock? Okay, a stock is a unit of a company. In any investment you want to make, I think fundamentally you need to find out how your return comes. Where are they going to get the money that they will give you? If you cannot answer that question, then it may be a red flag. I think that's where you have the fundamental difference between Ponzi and a normal proper investment. How you need to figure out how, and you need to try to understand how it works. And that's why people advise against not investing in what you don't understand. For me, I don't go near crypto. It's not. I think I don't even have interest in it. So even when I learn about it, I just learn and just want to wait for it to just pass and let me get on with what I am comfortable with. I'm okay with commodities. I'm okay with real estate. I'm okay with stocks. I don't do forex either. And maybe someday. But how is your return going to come? Maybe that's a good place to start. If you try to start answering that question, okay, so my return will come if the company does business and makes profit. Okay, so what is the company into, and how is the operating environment in the business the company is doing? You know, you need to begin to ask yourself questions around those. How do I know if a company is doing well? That takes you to the financials now. How do I know if a company is making profits? How do I know if a company is making losses? How do I know if even a company that is making losses can recover? You can begin to see some of these things, but for a beginner, there may be limits to what you can understand and appreciate. So, but you need to first find out which one are you interested in. I don't think it's a good idea to start investing everywhere. Start from one. Mutual funds. What does mutual fund mean? How do they do it? They gather people's money, put it somewhere. That somewhere they are putting it, what is happening there? I want to know. Is it just collect from A, give to B, reshuffle like that, recycle? So if you try to find out these things, it will gradually lead you to understanding what you're investing in. Then you can move on from the step by step. You can move on to say, okay, I'm now interested in real estate. How does it work? They sell land. Okay, I want to buy land. How much do they sell? What is involved? Buying land is not just to pay money for the land. There are so many other payments involved. What will be the investment? What's the return on investment? What's happening in that area? Tomorrow now, let it not be that I buy land. It becomes a war-torn area or somewhere that has a security issue. So you need to understand risk. You need to understand returns. Maybe I should just leave it at that. Risk, returns, and then what's the nature of the investment? How does it run? And then you can take it from there. I mean, these things I'm still learning myself, so it's not like there's an end to learning. So you just build block by block. But somebody who is really interested, before you know, I know sometimes I go on Google and check something, maybe on Investopedia, And only that Investopedia, it will take you a lot of time because there are links to several other things, to broaden your knowledge depending on what you want to really achieve. So you can look for something on risk. You read from there. You have links to several other things. You have book recommendations. I mean, the information is out there. There's a lot of information out there. When we started, there was no internet now, late 90s. And, so things have changed. So I hope that has helped to answer.
You've more than answered the question.
Okay,
I even
great.
like what you said about Investopedia because it's
Okay.
also my own personal experience. Investopedia is like, I would liken it to Hydra. You cut off one head, two will take its place. You answer one question, you have links to have 2 or 3 more questions that you can
Yeah.
just follow up on.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a very helpful platform I would
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
recommend for young investors. And I also like what you said about knowing where the returns are coming from, because that's like the green flag for a solid investment. You can then go into details like what's the valuation, like you've mentioned. So it's something that
Valuation.
young
Thank you.
investors need to really, really understand.
Mm.
They need to
That's
understand. Look,
yeah.
if you're putting a price tag on something,
Yeah.
it has to be based on what it's going to give to you. If it's not giving you anything, how do you even know what you're buying? So definitely recommend
Yes.
for young investors to think about where the return on investment is coming from.
It's coming
Now,
from.
Yeah.
speaking of return on investment, right? You've been an advocate for dividend withholding and e-mandates, right? So can you walk us
that is my
through
passion. That
why
one is
many
mine.
retail
Right. Okay. I should walk you through what? Sorry.
can you walk us through so can you walk us through why many retail investors aren't getting their dividends?
Oh, yeah. So why are many retail investors not getting their dividends? The answer is simple. Is the dividend system in Nigeria is not automated. That's the simple answer. I will now go on to explain. From when I used to invest from the late 90s, before we got to the point where we are, and we have evolved, just that our evolution is really slow. So dividends used to be by check. They send it to your postal address. So every stockbroker you register with, you must provide a postal address where they can post stuff to you. So dividends used to come by check, but the problem then was it means you must have a current account. Okay? First of all, how many of us had I didn't have an account. So, there were some things that would have gone stale, some checks that would have gone stale. It wasn't a lot of money then. So, but yeah. So dividends used to come by check. They used to post it. Now, we now got to a point where because of the amount of unclaimed dividends, a lot of checks returned, maybe address changed and all of that, a lot of dividends were unclaimed. It now got to a point where they said, okay, and beyond the address issue, there was also the issue of you don't have a current account, so the check cannot clear. That's another waste. Now, we now got to a point where the regulation changed to allow checks to be paid to savings accounts. So whether you have a current account or not. But that still left a lot of issues with addresses. You know how Nigeria is and the problems we have with tracing and addresses and identity generally. So we now got to a point where they said, okay, what we will now do, so long as you have a bank account, let's leave this check, what do you call? I think that's even how the mandate issue started, to say, okay, if you prefer your dividends to be sent to you directly to your bank account as against being written by check. I think over time that check was just automatically phased out. But I think that was the original idea with mandate. So you have to give them authority so that it doesn't happen that they will send money to your account and you are waiting for dividend to come to your address. I stand to be corrected, but that's how I understand the whole mandate setup, to say, okay, you need to mandate your accounts. And you may have more than one account anyway, so you need to mandate the one where the dividend should go. The problem now with that is that several people have mandated their accounts, sent the requisite forms, and their dividend has still not been paid. this is where we are now. As we speak, last month, I wrote a letter to SEC on behalf of several people who had unclaimed dividend issue. As I speak, is about a month since I wrote that letter. I don't have a reply from SEC. There were over 40 persons I wrote on behalf of. I just did it for free. I just did it as something that, I want to use it to encourage people. Letter writing is something that, I charge people for as a lawyer, but I can do it as pro bono. There are several other things I've done for free for people as well. I can also help. I can see so many people in need of help. They have done what needs to be done and they haven't got their dividends. Why is that so? And for me, it's really painful for me because I feel it's even worse than working and not getting paid at the end of the month. Because if you work and don't get paid, many times it's as a result of the fact that the company doesn't have the money to pay. It's very few occasions that you have companies that are able to pay and they'll be told salaries for no just cause. But this dividend one, the money is available. Somebody is holding it somewhere, is generating interest. And the owner is running helter-skelter looking for it. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. What people can do, and it looks like, in fact, now I'm even beginning to think that there needs to be something that one should be able to do outside of SEC, because it looks like even the SEC cannot help us. I've written to SEC previously and my dividend was paid. Personally, for me, myself, I've been writing letters for years. So, I know when it is time to write a letter and all of that. But this one, I'm quite surprised because with the number involved, I thought that with over 40 people involved, with several registrars, a lot of the registrars were involved. I thought that it would trigger, considering the amount of unclaimed dividend and the noise that SEC has been making, concerning unclaimed dividend and how they want to solve the problem. I'm really shocked that up till now, I don't have a formal reply. One person has come back to say, okay, I've got my dividend. I don't even know if it is because of the letter I wrote, so this is just unacceptable. I'm now beginning to think probably we have to now begin to look at maybe like a class action, because a lot of people want to even just give up and move on because the money is not a lot. But when you do that, you allow the injustice to continue. But the problem doesn't get solved. So somebody somewhere must bear the cost of solving the problem. Somebody needs to pay. The problem we have is that people don't pay for bad behavior in Nigeria. Consequence for bad behavior is almost not existent. So there's no incentive to do what is right. A registrar cannot be holding, or a company, their registrar and whoever, will sue all of them with SEC. You cannot hold back people's money, and then at the end of the day, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line, you return the exact amount. No, it's not acceptable. You will use the applicable interest rate and pay interest and pay damages for the inconvenience. That's how it should work. That's how a system should work. So I think that the reason why people are not getting their dividend is because it's not automated. I bought some stock. I didn't even know what was going on. I wanted to check something else, only for me to see that they had paid dividend to my wallet on the trading app I use. I didn't there was nothing I did apart from signing on to that trading app and buying the stock in the US. So why is our own different? Why is our own different? Although I hear that Bamboo and I think Trove also, their dividends are automated. But even the complaints, because I asked people to fill a Google form. One person mentioned Bamboo there. So there's probably some hitch here and there, even with the ones they claim that are paying dividends automatically. So we just need to automate dividends. It's either your dividends, once you need to fill only one form to invest. One form is enough. You put all your details on that form. And that should be enough, including your bank details, your BVN. We have BVN, we have NIN, we have driver's license, we have international passport, we have voter's card. Millions of people, millions of Nigerians have been identified and verified What do you unless you want to you ask us for our blood group, what else do you need? Once I feel with the stockbroker, the system should be integrated such that every other person along that value chain can have access. It's the same way I go somewhere, they verify my BVN, they verify my NIN, they verify immigration can verify my NIN. So what's the problem? Why can't we have it with the investment, with the capital market? So it's just automation. That's why people are not getting their dividends. It's automation. It's not, the dividends are not automated. As we speak, it's not automated. You will fill forms and fill forms endlessly with the same information you provided previously. You just keep filling forms. And at the end of the day, we have people even now, they have filled the form. They have done all that is required to be done. I even completed that NIPS when it first came out. There was a NIPS platform. Oh, technology has come. I completed it. Africa Prudential told me that they cannot trace what I completed there. I should fill their mandate form. I still have to fill the mandate form. These things can be automated. These things can be automated.
It's sad, TennyG. It's a sad situation. There are so many things that we can point at, but my problem is we've been crying, we've been talking about all this. Why can't they just sit down and do the right thing? I mean, these people, they travel, they've had experience in other countries, in other climes.
Sorry to cut you, but I don't think that SEC,
no
as
worries,
presently constituted, can take us to where we need to be.
Is it that they are overwhelmed, or what's the situation?
They are either overwhelmed
so much to
incompetent. It's either they are overwhelmed or they are incompetent. Because if there are things that you don't need to go back to, keep going back to. You just need to automate it and and you don't, the thing is, you don't automate and you just go to sleep. Human beings must always be there to monitor and check. Our greatest problem in Nigeria is enforcement and consequence. It's not that we don't have laws and regulations. We have enough. If I tell you the amount of laws we have, it will shock you. We have enough that governs several things, but who is enforcing it? Who is enforcing to make sure that the thing you have said that people should not do, people are not doing it. The thing you said that people should do, they are doing it. The regulators must be up and doing. Otherwise, the registrars will just have a field there, and the companies, they just keep the monies there and keep coming up with excuses.
And talking about these registrars, personally, I feel I'm not trying to bash anybody, but that's just the plain truth. I feel like they are the major issues that we have when it comes to the capital market in Nigeria, because they make it difficult for so many people to really get this benefit of investing in the stock market. It's not just dividends. When it comes to bonus allocation,
everything,
always one problem or the other with them. Trying to get hold of them is another problem. You will send emails, you try and call, and you are not getting anything. But
sometimes you have to go to the office. I tried with Veritas registrars. I had to go to the office.
Oh, that's the worst. Veritas is the worst. First registrars. I'm not trying to, like I said, I will just
we have to name and shame them because the regulators have failed. Yeah. The regulators have failed.
Veritas.
The simple thing to do with these people is to sanction them. That's all. That's all. You just sanction. Once you do it once and there's a scapegoat, everybody will learn. That's how systems work. Sanction one person. And when you sanction them and tell them to pay interest on dividends that are unjustly withheld, you see that everything is out.
Everybody will sit up. That's true. Because Veritas and First Register are so bad to the extent that if I want to invest in a company, I find value in the company. But if I always look at the registrar. Who is the registrar?
I check.
I
thought I was alone.
I check registrars and the worst part is First Registrars has a lot of companies. Like I wanted to invest in Stanbic IBTC.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that they are the registrars. And I said, no, I'm not investing in this because this bank is a very good bank. And I think I'll get value from this bank. But if I invest in this company, First Registrar will frustrate me.
You get
so
trapped.
There's no need. That's why that's how I did not invest in Stanbic IBTC. Yeah. And it's painful.
It's painful
It's very
because
annoying.
imagine you find a company that you see that there's value in the company, it's
Exactly.
going to give you a good return, but you are scared of your returns not getting to you because one organization that's supposed to do its job is not doing the job, and it's not being held accountable. Because it's not being held accountable, it's a burden to continue in that arrogance. Yeah, there should be a way, because it's so painful.
The problem is that we don't seem to, we always know that we know that time is money. I mean, time is money. I mean, that one is, even children will know by now. Time is money. But I don't know how we have been able to successfully detach that concept from the practice of the finance sector. The banks, the same. You can get your account to be debited today. You will get it back in 7 days. I don't understand it. I don't understand how a whole finance sector does not work with the consciousness of time. I don't understand it.
It's sad.
It's difficult.
It's sad. And they should sit tight, because we live in a modern life.
I don't think
we
there
live in
is
a modern
any
world.
registrar in Nigeria today that does not deserve sanction. I don't know of one.
All of them.
I'm happy to learn if there's anyone that has done their work the way they should.
African Prudential tends to be very responsive, but
to shock you.
Some people will tell you about their bad experience and you will not believe.
Yeah. Even coronation registrars, I think they are the best, because I've not had any issue with them so far, but I have seen people complain about them too.
Exactly. So, thank you.
So there's really no one that is
their shareholder life
free of
website portal is useless. It's useless. I've stopped using it.
All of them, not just them. If you go to Africa Prudential, they have Invest N or something like that. You can't even get the records that you're looking for there.
They just develop all sorts of useless apps and portals.
Who is developing these apps? Who is developing these apps? Who is doing? I don't know. I don't understand the issue behind all this failure, because it's a failure, because they can't, what they promise to do, they don't do it. And you also talk about this multiplicity of identification. We have NIN, we have international passport, we have driver's license, we have
BVN,
our
BVN
phone
and
number
voters
that
card
is linked to our BVN, voters card, all these together. Yet we still have issues. So the ease of doing business in Nigeria is very complicated. It drives away people, investors. It discourages people, because imagine someone that you've told about the stock market and decided to come into the stock market. Now, you told him that one of the benefits of being an investor is that you get dividends. And he saw it on the website of the Nigerian Stock Exchange that company A is going to pay dividend in September. Now, we are in December. He has not got that money. He's going to be discouraged. It's
As
more
we
like
speak, there are people, in fact, I just discovered yesterday, people who bought GTB last year, some of them don't even know left from their right, where the shares are and what have you. I'm like,
yeah, especially those that bought from the app,
real?
using the GTB app. Yeah. So it's a whole lot of problem in the capital markets. I think it needs to be. We always say this: let it be sanitized. Let somebody come in and clean up the whole mess. But I don't know when it's going to happen. Yeah. There's been a lot of improvement, but that is not enough.
We have still been light years behind. We are still light years behind. You can see even the technology we say we have adopted.
That you bought
is trapping us.
Yeah. You bought American shares, and just buying alone, you got your dividend, right? Nobody asked you for any documentation.
Any other form, nothing. I just downloaded an app. That was all. Put money in the app. Bought the shares. I was qualified for dividend. I was looking for something else and stumbled on my wallet and saw that dividend from that stock had dropped.
Easy peasy. Bro, you live in abroad and you go anywhere, they want your identification. Just your driver's license is enough. They have all your information. From the driver's license, they know where you live. They know the type of car you drive.
Once you present one, you can get every other thing.
Everything. They know where you work. They know everything is embedded. Nobody's going to ask you, bring your driver's license, then bring your voter's card, bring your NIN, bring your BVN. No. Why would you ask me for that? The KYC, know your customer. Haven't you known me before? When I opened the account, I gave you this information. So you are saying you don't know me?
But the information you gave them, they are not even using it. Time to email you, they will send you marketing emails. But when there is a problem, nobody communicates. Nobody will communicate. You will just be there hanging. You will send them emails, they won't even reply. You have to come to Twitter to say, please check your email.
It's a whole lot of issues. If we look at the issues, many people will not even stay in the market.
I see valid reasons for people not in, and it's painful because we can help people come out of poverty. We can help people can invest little monies here and there and improve their lives. But here we are. Here we are.
Frustration everywhere.
The country is among the poorest. We should be doing everything possible to salvage ourselves.
The situation, yeah. Yeah, so from a compliance standpoint, what do registrars and regulators need to do to better restore investors' trust? What do you think to restore our trust? What do you think
regulators
and registrars?
Yes, I will start with the regulators. The regulators need to enforce the regulations and the laws. It's as simple as that. That's why you are there. You put laws and policies in place, regulations and policies in place. You are not enforcing it. So there's no consequence. So what are we doing? You are just there every day releasing press statements about Ponzi scheme. Is that all you came to do as a regulator? So, because, before you will even be telling people not to invest in Ponzi, what is the alternative you give to them? You cannot say people should stop riding keke. You didn't provide public transport system they will use. I don't understand. Where is the alternative? That they should not go to Ponzi scheme. They should come to your stock market. Is it this one I'm seeing? This one we are talking about? So you must enforce. That's where we have a problem in Nigeria. There must be consequence for bad behavior. That's all. The regulators just need to enforce the laws and regulations and policies. That's the main thing that they need to do, really. Do your work as oversight, as regulators. Do your work. The registrars need to automate. They need to automate. And I don't know, maybe it's a problem of being short-staffed. Maybe it's a problem of not being technology savvy. Automate these things. I don't know the extent to which they can automate, and this automation I'm talking about needs to spread beyond the registrars. There needs to be synergy. The entire stakeholders, all the capital market operators need to have synergy. Whether stockbrokers, whether the NGX, CSCS, so basically everybody needs to work together. There needs to be synergy, there needs to be harmony, so that when people when people feel funds, the likely person that the people will come in contact with first are the stockbrokers. But if the stockbrokers are linked up, to the registrars and every other person along the value chain, CSCS and everybody, you find out that that's what the stockbroker becomes the one-stop shop, and the person is able to reach every other person, and every other person is able to reach them. All you need to do is to say, okay, your data will be shared with so and so and so, and you accept, and you move on. That's all that is required, or that should be required. The registrars need to automate these things. What is really the problem? I don't know. What is the reason why you cannot approve? Africa Prudential approved that bonus in April or so. Why is it coming in July? This is another question for the regulators.
Yeah.
Is it that they don't know what to do, or no time to approve that bonus by the company?
The bonus.
Why is it taking you so long? There's an instrument I bought. I don't want to mention the company. It's an offer. It will be listed eventually on the floor of the exchange. I thought I was getting in early as an advantage, getting in early. Since February, my money has been tied down. We are waiting for approval. I don't understand. Look at US, you will find what do you call earnings reports? Earnings reports. You have earnings calendar. You have a calendar this month. These are the people coming with their report. If ahead of time, you know who is coming. Our own, you will CBN. We are waiting for CBN.
waited for CBN to approve bank reports. How long? I don't understand. Is it a problem of manpower or what exactly is the issue? By now, if it's something you have been doing for decades, you will know where to look, you will know where to check, you know the questions to ask as they bring it. So what are there are banks abroad too? So what exactly is making our own different? So the regulators need to they need to be up and doing. They need to apply the concept of urgency of time, because it's a finance. I understand that yes, you shouldn't be in a hurry before you get into problems. You know, there can be fraud and things. I understand that, but something you have been doing for so long, you should be able to master it and know where to plug the gaps. I mean, there are some things that as a lawyer, you expect me to know that a layman may not know. So it's your area. Why are you there? Why are you earning the salary you are earning? So the regulators need to be up and doing. They need to take their work seriously and apply time to what they are doing. It can't be taking 3 months to approve an offer. People who buy public offer is taking them up till now. We don't have their shares. Understand? So the regulators must be up and doing. They need to apply the rules. Enforcement, very important. Once you sanction 1 or 2 persons, you will see that the system will be vibrant. The registrars need to automate your systems and make use of your. There are ways you can send emails. When it comes to marketing, you don't have any problem. They send marketing emails very easy. When it comes to important things, okay, Africa Prudential bonus has gone out. You didn't even send a mail to say, okay, your bonus has gone. If you have not received your, am I the one that will come and be telling you what to do in your office? So yeah, this they need to automate and synergize with the other players.
And if you look at it, most of these registrars, they work for they are more integrated. So integrating the whole system at the back end is not a problem, because
it's not a problem.
Let's take for instance coronation registrar. Yeah, coronation registrar has another arm called coronation securities. So they are capital market.
A lot of them, they are financial behemoths. So they have all sorts. Yeah, so they have is there, microfinance bank together. Is there. Yeah.
Everything is there. Insurance is so. Looking at the Nigeria stock market, so Coronation has a registrar arm, it has a stockbroking arm. So what stops you from linking both arms together in order for you to reach out to investors? Because you already have that. If you come to First Registrar, it's the same thing. They have First Securities as a stockbroking arm.
Yes.
Almost all of them, they have that brokerage arm. They have the registrar arm. So
yes. They have all sorts of things. They are all connected. It's like a value chain. So they have all sorts of things along the value chain. Even the meristem has registrars, has probates, has,
Yeah. So you can't tell me that there's a problem in trying to you have the data. You have the data. So it's just automate everything, like you said, and make it seamless. You can even make it. We live in a technological world.
Yes.
Where AI is there, you can automate everything and just push a button and everything goes. You verify some of them. Let me tell you some of them.
Right.
As we speak, I've not gotten my Lasaco dividends from 2008 to date.
For which registrar is that? Dividends. First registrars.
I think the registrar is Apple registrar, something like that.
Okay, Apple.
Yeah,
those ones they are not even familiar. Even the familiar ones are so bad. Talk less of these ones that are.
You know the problem? They said I should come and they don't have my signature. I said, you guys are joking. You don't have my signature. What do you mean by you don't have my signature? I sent my signature to them. They said they wanted to see me in person to sign the signature. Okay. I went there and I did that. And till dates, they keep giving me excuses that my signature, the one they have on record and the one I gave them does not reconcile. And I said, you people said you don't have my signature in the first place. So how come I came to give you my signature in person, then all of a sudden it does not reconcile with the one you have on your system? But you told me earlier on that you don't have anything on your system.
But you told me that you didn't have it.
Yeah, all of a sudden now you have
the
signature. The reason, and at the end of the day, I just decided to ignore them because it's never worth the stress. It's just that
this is the problem.
It is what is due to me.
Yes.
It's my own sweat, my investment.
Yes.
So that's why I was really interested in getting it. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, when you make it difficult for people, it discourages the investors. They just shy
Stay
away.
away.
And that's the reason.
Yes.
That's the reason why most of them will still go for Ponzi schemes. Because Ponzi scheme, if you enter early at the earliest stage, you still get some returns. It's just that greed will make you to put everything back in.
Yes.
Because Ponzi scheme is not going to ask you. The only thing Ponzi scheme is going to ask you for is your money. They're not going to ask you for identification,
signature. You come to their office and sign signature.
Yeah. they're not going to ask for that. So once it's easy, if you make it easy, people will always go for what is
people
very
will
easy.
Come. People will come, and it will help the economy. The system will grow. It will help. You know.
That's just the problem. Now, with the advent of technology, how can technology and fintech solutions be better integrated to improve compliance, transparency, and market participation?
This question, how do I answer this one now? I'm not an IT expert, but I know that, I mean, there are one or two things that can be done. I mean, in terms of participation, I think a whole lot is going on in that space, and I commend everyone who is doing something, particularly Bamboo. I mean, it's not like their app is fantastic, but because I've had to use other apps that are non-Nigerian, I can see that we are light years behind what we should be doing. But I mean, we started, at least you improve. That's how it works.
Yeah.
As we move on. So apps like that have done quite well. And beyond the participation, they are doing a lot around education as well, which is also commendable for apps like Bamboo and Trove. Shaka and the rest of them that have been in that space, and I commend them for that. I am not too sure what needs to be done around the compliance and transparency space now in terms of technology. How can technology help? But I think that one place to start will be the website of the NGX. It needs to be up to date. I mean, there's a lot of information you go there, you look for, you don't find. I recently shared one website that I found. I know that has a lot more information than the NGX. I don't know if the NGX deliberately deletes reports. For example, universal insurance, I went there to look for. There's nothing on the NGX.
Oh, really?
For a company that is not delisted,
no
notice of board meeting. So is he under sanction or what? If he's under sanction,
no, it's not, because the stock is still being traded. It's not under sanction.
If he's under sanction, we should know. If he's not under sanction, I get information about sanctioned companies from my stockbroker. The NGX should have it on their website. That's one place to start. It's not about technology. You want to have sophisticated. The basic one you have, you are not doing well with it.
Making use of it.
We don't have information that needs to be there. Then, in terms of transparency, it's about making known what steps you have taken and who is flaunting the rules and what steps you have taken to correct that and all of that, and making sure that the rule applies to everybody fairly too. We need to know. As you put this information out, it will build confidence and trust. Confidence and trust is built and lost over time as a result of certain ABC factors. So you can't just sit there and wish it. As we speak, some of the things we have shared in this podcast and all of that, if you honestly want to change things, you implement these things, you will see that over time, it will naturally draw people. People who are there will have confidence to share that this is one way you can do it. Now, you are not even very confident. You tell people to come and they start hounding you that my dividend till today, don't invite me to that your this thing again. That your capital market. I don't know what people are doing there. You know, it's not the kind of thing you want to have. You know, so I don't really know much about the kind of technology we need to ensure compliance and all of that. I don't know, but I think we can build on what we already have bit by bit. We can say, okay, like for instance, the sanctions bit. There are companies like, I know that sometime, maybe last month or thereabouts, ProShares shared some companies that ordinarily should be under sanction, but we are not. These are some of the things that affect trust. It means that are you looking at faces or who is involved or names?
Favoritism.
You understand? Yeah. All of those things. We should know. And we should know from the right source. That's transparency. We should know from the right, not that somebody has managed to get information from the back door and is able to get the information out to us. That means we shouldn't trust, you can't trust the system because things are going on. Because we don't have access to that, we are disadvantaged. It shouldn't be the case. If I'm looking for information as to which company is sanctioned, it should be clear. In fact, there should be a blinking light on NGX platform once I log in or once I visit the website. These are the people it will be scrolling. Take note. Delisted, the same. It will be scrolling. These are the ones that were recently delisted. Take note. People will be there projecting. The other day, I saw someone recommending a stock that it traded last 7 years ago. I don't understand. And there are so many people who are innocent. They are just coming on board. They just, was it a fringe or one company that, I mean, when people come on board based on some of this information that they get, and it begins to look to them like it's not real. It begins to look like fraud and Ponzi scheme. So you need to be sure that the information, the information is coming from the right source. We can trust that, okay, NGX SEC is saying this and this and this. These are people we can trust because they are regulators in the system. I think that's what I have to say on that. I'm not sure how.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're coming towards the end of the interview now. So this podcast is basically for people that are new to investment, especially the capital market, because they need that knowledge. Because one of the questions we get all the time is, which stock can I invest in? I have X amount of money. Can you recommend stocks for me? Unfortunately, we don't recommend stocks. But now that you're here, as someone that has been in the capital market for so long, if you have a new investor that is just starting with 50,000 naira, how would you recommend they begin their investment journey wisely? I'm not saying you should point at companies that they can invest in, but how would you advise them to invest this 50,000 naira?
Wisely? Okay, is it just restricted to the stock market or generally?
No, capital markets, stocks, bonds, real estate.
If the person wants to buy stocks, bonds, real estate investment trusts, okay. But I would say I would rather, we are not supposed to be recommending. People should check their risk appetite and all of that and know. But to be fair, generally, you don't want a situation where you put money and your money is reducing. Mm-hmm. No matter how you haven't done investment before. You don't want that your money is reducing in value, So I would rather it's either if you're not doing mutual funds to start, because I think there has to be a place for you. It's like swimming. You start with the shallow end. Where is the place where you can go that you don't get drowned? In the investment sense, now you minimize loss.
You don't get
it's
drowned,
risky. It's risky everywhere, but the losses, likelihood of loss and all that. So I would rather you invest in something like if you don't want to do mutual funds to start, I would have said mutual funds to start, and then you can build from there to ETFs as a shallow end of entering the market. Then for an individual stock, maybe something like NIDF, the Nigerian Infrastructure Debt Fund. That's by Chapel Hill Deham. Yeah. So the reason why I have said that is because for ETFs, they pay dividends. That will motivate a new investor a lot. Dividend will motivate a new investor a lot. It's when you've done investment for some time, you can now be talking about growth, my money will grow. People need to see that, okay, they put money and after that, something came.
Out of the money.
That is, as you go, as time goes on, you will now begin to see, okay, I can risk more. I can do something else. I can now buy something that maybe will drop in value. But NIDF doesn't really significantly appreciate or depreciate. What you are sure of is every
Okay.
quarter you get dividend. So if you put
Yes.
50,000 naira there, every quarter you get something. I think they've been paying 5,000 or so. So you have to do some division and multiplication, you know. But every quarter you get something. There's something it does psychologically. I know it personally.
Yes.
There's something it does psychologically. As time goes on, you can then build to say, okay, we can now go to areas where we can put money and hope that it will appreciate capital appreciation. So those would be my recommendations. I know that ETFs also pay dividends. At least I checked recently. I've been looking in the direction of Wetiwa because simply to solve the issue of diversification one and the issue of registrars.
True.
The issue of registrars. If I can get an ETF who is not, whose registrar is not any of the registrars I'm avoiding, then I should be home and dry because there are also the issue. The ETFs for me can help solve the illiquidity issue as well. So the illiquidity issue, registrar issue, diversification issue, it helps. Now, I may not really know or be bothered about what's happening with Dangote cement, and they are all there in the basket. At the end of the day, I get my money and I move on. I don't want to know who the registrar is. I don't want to know how the stock is liquid or not liquid. Let the ETF sort it out and I move on. So I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's a very important recommendation. At least you, like a baby, you learn how to sit, crawl, stand before you walk. You can't just start walking as a baby. So you learn from one stage to another. It gives you confidence. That's an important one. Now let's switch back to regulation again because that's the main topic for today. If you could change one policy or regulation today to make Nigeria's capital market more investor friendly, what would it be?
One policy. Maybe I should say the liquidity one, because I see a lot of frustration around people wanting to invest in companies they know are doing well, but they have been burnt. In fact, people don't want to be even involved at all again in the capital markets because of that bad experience. So they may need to tweak the free float policy. I mean, there are others. For instance, I mean, for me, the time is just ridiculous. the market opening times is ridiculous. I mean, our normal working times in Nigeria is 8 to 4, as far as I know. So why is the market trading 9 to 2:30, 10 to 2:30? But I think if we deal with that liquidity to help free float, the market is not that deep. Market is not that deep. There are just there are few companies. The companies that are listed are not a lot. The companies that are listed that are healthy are even fewer. So, I mean, why do you now limit us again further by now making this free float issue that takes out the few of the good from the good ones? Now take out. So, I think that's, for me, that's something that would help to encourage.
All right. Okay. So final question before we let you go.
Oh, interesting.
What's your personal What's your personal philosophy?
I didn't know that I would have such a good time.
Oh, okay.
It was good.
Yeah,
I haven't done a podcast before, so probably I was just like, no.
Okay. No. Yeah, this is the first one. Yeah, there's always the first time. And
yes,
yeah, we hope when we call on you again, you come back. So now our final question is, what's your personal philosophy on long-term investing and how do you apply it in your own portfolio?
Okay. Long-term investing, yes, that should be the goal ultimately, to say, okay, we need to plan for the future. You need to not put money, bring it out, put money, bring it out. When you want to plant a tree, you don't plant today, tomorrow you go and check it, dig it, check if it's coming. No. You need to ultimately, long-term is a way to go. But my own philosophy personally is that long term is the way to go, but it may not necessarily be the only way. So while I have stocks or investment that I have long-term view around, I have planned long-term view around, and then probably won't sell in the near future, 5, 10, 15 years. I probably won't sell them because they are doing well. There's no reason to sell them. But then I also don't limit. I also don't exclude myself from any opportunities to take advantage of and make short-term gains. So that's I would see myself as a hybrid investor. So I do long term. I also look at opportunities here and there that I can take advantage of, that I can make some short term gains. Oh, this thing is riding decent fundamentals. So we can ride with it and get some more money out and put for longer term, investment where we know that, yes, this is the house we are building. The other one is maybe like just batcha to just hold some stuff like a warehouse. So that's it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for
Tenny.
having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. And
well done.
You're the
well
first.
Done. You are doing very, very, very well. I'm quite impressed. I'm not great with listening to these things, really, to be honest, but I will share for people to listen. I'm sure. I mean, people can get, I don't know. I just don't have the patience to listen. And especially when I'm not seeing the faces, it doesn't quite help. I think some people are quite good with listening to radio, and they can get on with it. But it doesn't quite work for me. So I just felt this thing, will people really listen to it? But I see comments here and there. People are happy. They are listening, learning. I'm happy, and I'm excited to be part of the growth, part of the support, and helping the system to.
We thank you so much. We see what you're doing. We see what you're doing. Thank you so much. Especially on this compliance issue, because this is the most frustrating aspect that people don't really talk about. The few experts in the field that are on the social media, they don't really highlight on this. You are the only person that we've noticed that really you only hit the hammer on the head when it comes to compliance. Dividends. So I was like, we should invite her so that we should invite her so that she can shed more light on this, because this is one of the nagging issue in the capital market.
Pain points. Yes.
Unfortunately, people don't talk about it.
Yes.
They're not talking about. Apart from you, there are very few people. Once in a while, they just talk about it. But you almost all the time, I see your post and I was like, this is something. This is a burning issue and it's a passion. I think,
I think I just have to take it to the next level. Thank you.
Yes, with this.
We try to see how we can. It's obvious that the SEC itself has failed. So what next can we do? That's the next question. Should we look at the possibility of a class action that will also bring SEC in the matter, bring in the registrars, what can we do? There has to be a way, because we can't just be here and raise our hands up and surrender.
That will make them to sit. Yeah, that will make them to sit up. I think that will make them to sit up. It should be something to look into. Maybe we organize a Twitter space. Every investor with their grievances, they come together there. They look at the class action. I think that's going to be the best way to really draw attention to what's going on.
I'll try and also check the laws, and because SEC has a new law anyway, the Investment and Securities Act recently. So I'll just try and look at what redress mechanism is available there. I also know that there's an Investment and Securities Tribunal. So what's possible? Let's see what's possible so that we can explore how we can get people need to be able to get redress when they are wrong. Otherwise, if the society becomes a banana republic, everybody is self-help. And we don't want that. We don't want that. It's not good for the investment space. Right.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you.
Your insight and your practical advice with us today, your perspective on compliance, investor education, and how to
please, no financial advice. Market. I hope you have disclaimers for your podcast.
Yes,
everybody
at the beginning
should.
Of our podcast, we always At the beginning of our podcast, we always give a disclaimer there. It's just for education purpose. Right. You just learn, then you take your own decision yourself too.
Right.
Yeah, Tenny, thank you so much for sharing your journey insights. and practical advice with us today. Your perspective on compliance, investor education, and how to navigate the Nigerian market has been incredibly valuable. And I'm sure our listeners are walking away better informed and more confident. To our listeners, if you find this conversation helpful, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who is also interested in investing wisely. And don't forget to follow TennyG on social media. She's on Twitter to keep
I
learning
am
from her
TennyG.
expertise and advocacy. Yeah. What's your handle?
At I am TennyG.
Okay. So follow her on Twitter. She's an expert, an advocate when it comes to compliance, dividend, and I'm sure you benefit from her post, her tweet, and you can also reach out to her if you're having some challenges too. Maybe she can point you in the right direction. Finally, make sure you are subscribed to the Nigerian Investor Podcast on your favorite platform. So whenever we release an episode, you don't miss one. Until next time, stay consistent, stay curious, and stay invested. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Tenny.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Favorite Podcast that brings insight to the Nigerian stock market. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. To get more episodes like this, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, as well as on our website. All this information is available in the show note below this episode. Until we bring you another episode your way next week. Bye for now. TNI Podcast is executive produced by Moody. This episode was edited by Rona at Rockwari Village Studio.